Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. For all law enforcement agencies, protection of life is their most important job. Of all crimes, the crime of murder is the most shocking and most ruthless. During February of last year, 2 men arrived by train in Lafayette, a small town of just under 5,000 people. The purpose of their visit, murder.
Just 1 hour. Next train leaves at 3 o'clock.
Hello. Pete. Well, when did you get in town? Oh, well, where are you? What are you doing here?
I thought I'd surprise you. I'm down at the railroad depot. Tell me where your house is, and I'll come right out.
How did you find me?
I remembered that you and Mary took a trip 4 years ago. You like this town?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, Pete, you stay there. I'll pick you up. It won't take 5 minutes. Swell. I'll be seeing you.
Fine.
What's he doing here, Joe?
I don't know.
The syndicate send him?
I don't know. Haven't even had a letter from him, and now...
Why?
Well, it could be friendly.
You know better.
For sure, my brother paying me a social visit.
He's still with them. He's still a gangster.
Well, that's what I was. I quit Mary. I walked out.
We both knew they're sending someone after you, sooner or later.
Mary, my own brother.
What choice does he have? He either does what he's told or he gets it himself.
Oh, Joe, don't go.
Mary, if I don't go, he'll come here.
Please, Joe.
How long will it take him to get here?
Oh, he said it'd be less than 5 minutes.
Remember, it's only 1 hour till train time.
Yeah.
And remember what we pay you for, Pete. To take care of people like Joe Kern. People who think they can walk out anytime they want.
Look, why don't we give him a chance? It's been a year and he hasn't talked. Why don't we leave him alone?
He knows too much. Now get outside. Meet him at the car. And do your job right. We've got to be out of here before they find the body. I'll be waiting out of sight. It's best that he doesn't see me.
Highway Patrol. Just a moment, please, ma'am. I think you'd better take this, Mr. Matthews. It's a woman. She says there's going to be a murder.
Miss Matthews, what's this about a murder?
I'm Mrs. Mary Curran at 238 Oak Street, Lafayette. My husband asked me to wait half an hour before calling you, but I can't wait that long. I think he's going to be murdered by his own brother.
Good to see you again, Joe.
Look a little thinner.
Well, it's been rough the last couple of years. Maybe you were smart to get out when you did. How's Mary?
She's fine.
Well, good. Come on, let's hop in the car and go to your house.
I want to talk to you here.
Why? What's the matter?
Come on over here and I'll tell you.
What's bothering you?
What do you think's bothering me?
You.
What are you doing here?
And do I have to have an excuse to see my brother?
Yeah, you have to have an excuse. I got a pretty good idea what it is.
Oh, Joe, you're out of your mind. The syndicate's forgotten all about you. You don't matter. You're not important anymore.
You knew what I was talking about, didn't you, Pete? I know why you're here. It sticks out all over you. You're here to kill me. The syndicate wants to rub me out, and you're the guy that they've chosen.
You know how it is, Joe. The syndicate gives you a job, you got to do it.
Yeah. Or they get you and your wife, and maybe your kids.
That's it. You do what you're told.
Not today, Pete. I don't die today. They're going to have to try it again.
Joe, don't go. I got to talk to you. Let's get out of here until train.
Relax. Walk. Cops. How are the cops here already? How did you louse this up?
I don't know. Let's get out of here.
$21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
My 1020 is Lafayette Depot. Curran's been stabbed. Send an ambulance. Get me a fast mate on Pete Curran. And I want Lafayette closed up tight. You know, we got one break. The knife that Pete Curran used is still in Joe's back. You know, maybe killing his brother might have shook him up a little bit. 10-4?
10-4.
What went wrong? Tell me quick so I'll know what to cover.
He knew. He knew I was here. He got mad.
Did you kill him? The cops. How did the cops get there?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he tipped him off. Maybe he knew when I phoned.
That could be. He could have phoned before he went to the station.
My knife. I left my knife.
You really blew it, didn't you? You handled the whole thing like an amateur.
Look, you got to help me get the knife back. It's got my prints all over it. They'll get me, sure.
Sure, they'll get you. The main problem is keep me out of it. Come on.
You take over here. $21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
2370's taken over. I'm going over and talk to Mrs. Curran.
We have a make on Pete Curran. He has a long record. Present occupation, suspected a syndicate killer. No evidence of a booking.
What about the M.O.?
He's been picked up on suspicion of murder 4 times. 3 knife jobs and 1 gun. No convictions.
Oh, this boy is long overdue. I hope we can nail him.
All the roadblock units are in position.
10-4. Matthews, Highway Patrol.
Joe. Is Joe all right?
Well, I was too late.
And Pete did it. Pete got him. I didn't want him to go to the station.
Mrs. Curran, you can help us. It's Pete Curran. Do you know him? Can you describe him?
Do I know him? Can I describe him? Pete got Joe into the syndicate. Joe was just a punk kid. Pete was a big shot. A big shot. Joe wanted to be like Pete.
I'll get a car. We'll drive out of here.
That's the trouble with you, Pete. You don't think. Those cops back at the depot, they'll have roadblocks on every road out of here.
You've got to help me. You've got to help me get out of here.
If you leave here, you'll get caught. We aren't going to like that.
I was just doing a job for you. You've got to help me. You've got to give me a break.
If you get caught, you might talk. We can't afford to let you get caught. You know what to do, Pete. You do it. If you try to run, if you try to get out, we'll pay you.
Backing me into a corner, you're not giving me a choice.
You should have thought of that when you left your knife behind. Your wife and kids will get a nice bonus. Otherwise, they'll get what Joe got. Now, the sooner the cops find you, the sooner the heat's off. And just in case you're thinking of knocking me off, it won't help. The syndicate will find you the same as we found Joe.
I should never have taken the job. A man can't kill his own brother.
But you did. Let me see your gun, Pete.
Go to the freight warehouse right off 3rd Street, 2 blocks from the depot immediately. Woman heard a shot. Saw nothing.
Freight warehouse 2 blocks from the depot. 10-4. $2370 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
I'm at the freight warehouse. There's a man here. Looks like a suicide. Identification says Pete Curran. A gunshot wound. Gun still in his hand.
I'll get the coroner out right away. 10-4?
10-4.
Here, put this around you. I'll get it, it's all right. Hello? Who? Oh, this is Matthews. What's that? I'll get over there right away, thanks. Well, you won't have to go with me. Pete Curran's been found dead. Would it amaze you if I said he committed suicide? suicide. This doesn't add up.
His gun's been fired. One shot. Heavy powder burn.
I know this guy's a professional killer. This type doesn't commit suicide.
With his fingerprints all over that knife, he was a cinch for execution.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but Pete Curran blew when he left the knife in Joe. We gotta find one more guy to supervise it.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so. Look, I'm going over and talk to Mrs. Curran.
Well, I'll have the lab crew check the angle of bullet entry.
Okay, you do that. Suicide angle doesn't check out with the lab boys, let me know.
Right.
Didn't add up, did it?
What didn't?
Pete. He wouldn't kill himself.
You got any ideas?
What kind of ideas?
Mrs. Curran, you know the racket that Joe is in. And let's face it, Pete Curran didn't come to Lafayette by himself.
Supervisor.
That's right. He's as guilty as Pete is, and we want him.
What if I don't recognize him?
He's got one way to get out of town. By train. I'll pull my men out of the depot. The train leaves in 20 minutes.
I'll get my purse.
Okay, I'll be in the car. Yeah, that's right. I want the depot cleared. I want all units to keep the depot under observation, but I want them on foot. I'm going with Mrs. Curran. Now, look, give me about 5 or 6 minutes before you pull the other units out, right?
Right. The preliminary lab report says the angle of bullet entry in Pete Curran is all wrong for suicide. The trigger finger was broken, evidently crushed against the trigger.
Somebody must have fired the gun while it was still in Pete's hand.
Looks like that. The lab says it's homicide. 10-4.
10-4.
Headquarters to 2370.
2370 by.
2150 is going to the depot with Mrs. Curran. 2360 is being pulled out. You're to head for the depot, but park 2 or 3 blocks away, then move in on foot. But keep out of sight yourself. 10-4. Headquarters to 2360.
We'll walk from here. I don't want any patrol cars around he can see. Come on. Let's check outside. Go ahead. What about that guy over there with the newspaper?
I've never seen him before. Let me walk over to make sure.
If you recognize him, make it casual.
I'm not forgetting what he is, Mr. Matthews. And I'm not forgetting what he's done.
Okay, you go ahead.
I'm Joe Curran's wife. You're the supervisor. You ordered Pete to kill him, and I'm going to kill you. We'll even the score right now.
All right. George Foley.
What's this all about? You haven't got a thing on me.
We got plenty on you. We didn't know who you were or what you looked like until you started to run just now. We're going to take you in. Suspicion of murder. Okay, man, take him away. See Highway Patrol again next week. Until then, remember, reckless driving doesn't determine who's right, only who's left. This is Roderick Crawford saying, see you next week.